Well, good morning, Niagara. You're tuned into Car Connection where the coffee's hot, the tools are ready, and the talk is always tuned up. I'm your host, Niall Motormouth Jenkins, coming to you straight from the Car Connection workshop where we mix a little humor, a little know how, and a whole lot of horsepower. Here, it's not just about fixing cars, it's about keeping you rolling, saving you money, and giving you the confidence to understand what's under that hood. From the classics to the commuters, the weird noises to the what the heck moments, we've got you covered. So grab your coffee, sit back. If you're just spinning through the drive through, double check your order, lock it down in that cup holder, and we'll have a swiggy together in just a moment. Join the crew because this is Car Connection, your Monday through Saturday morning Motormouth morning drive. It's your pit stop for stories, smarts, a few good laughs. And I'm Niall Motormouth Jenkins, and we're shifting into drive right here in the Car Connection workshop this morning. Well, welcome aboard if you're joining us for the very first time. We love our brand new listeners for joining us. And we do a few quirky things. It's okay. You'll get into the routine, into the groove. And if your coffee's not your thing, our morning beverage and our morning swiggy together is whatever that proponent, you like that word? Proponent is for you. So let's have our morning swiggy. We'll get our daily weather report hooked up and ready to go. So we count it down on 3, 2, 1, and we have a morning swiggy together. 3, 2, 1. Yes. Yeah, that's working. Yeah, it's even hot. I can't believe that. Fabulous. So remember, double check your order every time you go through the drive-through. Why? It just avoids, that day not getting started off right, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah. You can kind of little right hand turn into the rhubarb patch if you're not careful. Hand over the 16 pack of Crayola crayons to the co-pilot this morning in the leaf bag, so they got lots of writing material. Just tell them it's a new touch screen laptop. Your crayons are just for backup. Yeah, we're covering this morning. Here's the topic. You ready for this one? And I'll tell you what, this one it gives me gas just thinking about it. Aftermarket electronics. Convenience versus electrical nightmares. Oh, yeah. We haven't seen that one before. That's a new one. No, it isn't. Stuff you need to know before you start adding things, accessorizing. Oh, that looks like an interesting gadget, gizmo, and thingamy-bob. Yeah. Before you just get, your Skippy next door to hack into your wiring and install it. Yeah, I got it done. And then you have to live with the Christmas tree of lights in the digitals on the display. Yeah, right in front of you. Yeah, not good. So we're gonna rip that one open this morning and talk about that. There's things you really must know. Well, this morning's weather report brought to us by Niagara Block. Thank you to the Grimo family for making this podcast possible. Niagara Block's located at 5000 Montrose Road, Niagara Falls, building Canada since 1931 with building supplies, hardscape, landscaping materials, and right now is the time that you need to start putting that together. I spoke about this just the other day. I was catching up on a few YouTube channels that I enjoy watching, and it came across as a commercial, and I'm aware of the company, and they do plowing in the winter and landscaping in the summer, and he said this: if you're looking to create that backyard space this year, we need to hear from you now to get on our calendar because it's booking up. And the good guys, that's what happens. I can tell you it took 2 years to get the landscapers that we wanted that did a lot of work and creativity in Niagara on the Lake to get here to the studio after the studio wasn't here, and then it's here. And then we had to landscape. Yeah, fix the problems. Yeah, because the backyard looked like it just barely survived the Beirut car bomb, if you know what I'm saying, times 10. It was gruesome, but I'll tell you, it was worth the wait because they estimated the project, they started the project, we picked out materials, and they got it done. They got it done. So, Niagara Block, 5000 Montrose Road, Niagara Falls. That's who you need to connect with. Customer service like no other. They have all the beautification products you need to create that backyard oasis just for you. So give them a call, 905-356-2221. And remember that the biggest drawer in our toolbox is the homepage of our website, carconnectionbusinessnetwork.com. That's where everything we talk about lives on our website. It's the biggest drawer we could come up with in our toolbox. We had to empty the whole bottom drawer out to make this happen. So on the homepage at ccbusnet.com, I put this in the description of all our YouTube videos and also our podcast descriptions. So you don't have to think about that if you don't have a co-pilot taking notes. It's good. So when you get to our homepage, you'll see logos of companies. Those are the companies that back us up. Those are our program partners. Very, very important to us. They've been with us for a long time after coming off of radio for 31 years, just this past November. And now we're all digitals. Yeah, and I'm liking it. So much more I can't even begin to tell you because there isn't enough time. So all you have to do to connect with one of our program partners that will treat you with honesty and integrity, click on their logo. It'll open a profile page, and all their contact information is readily available for you right there. And every single page is set up exactly the same for each and every program partner. So navigation is simple. Top right-hand corner, important area of the home page. That's where all our links are set up for you to like, share, follow, ring the bell, subscribe, do the whole package. So we got YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. That's where you'll see reels, bloopers, and outtakes that you won't see anywhere else. Also, we have Stevensvilleontheweb.ca. Click on the businesses tab. Skippy, my videographer, set that website up. Lives in Stevensville. My parents live in Stevensville. And a lot of my friends live there. And she created that website to bring community and businesses, local businesses, together. I think it's just a fabulous thing to do. So check that out. Also, click on the iHeartRadio icon. That'll take you right to our iHeartRadio library. In about 6 or 7 days, we'll have 100 podcasts up there for you, and then we'll be beginning a new series, and also moving into the next series of episodes. Yeah, season 2. We'll be heading into season 2, series 1, and episode 101. That's pretty exciting because being on radio for 31 years, I would most of the time, if I didn't take vacation, which it's still kind of new to me, taking vacation, because when you work for yourself, every day is a vacation, right? Absolutely. It's fun day every day. Not really. Sometimes. But anyways, I do at least a minimum 50 live shows, 1 hour of radio once a week. Now I'm doing it 6 days a week for you, Monday through Saturday. Saturday, I've decided to make that a 1 hour show, thereabouts, and I'm chopping back Monday through Friday, trying to keep it tight around 30 minutes, 35 minutes, just to make sure that I'm respecting your time. Sometimes the topic takes a little bit more, and I've got to get all the pieces of the puzzle in before we wrap up the program. So we also have a store on the top right-hand corner. Access is click, and it opens. We have all kinds of items there. When you purchase a Car Connection Motor Mouth Crew item, proceeds go to Total Freedom Addiction campuses in Canada and U.S., helping those struggling with addiction to get to a place where a new life is waiting for them. And it's just amazing to see the transformation. That part is stunning. So get yourself a Car Connection coffee mug. You can call it your own, whatever beverage. You can call it the morning beverage mug. But there's hoodies, zip-up hoodies, long-sleeve shirts, T-shirts. We added a new hat, which is actually the real colors, the moniker of Car Connection. That's up there. There's toques. Yeah, the list goes on and on. All kinds of nice stuff. Order your size, your color, pay direct safely, and it gets shipped right to your home. How cool is that? And those items are all created on one of the campuses of Total Freedom in the U.S. They have a number of businesses on site. They have Freedom Automotive. They have Freedom Expressions, and that is the store that creates all the garments and accessories and things that you want to accessorize with, travel mugs, you name it. They do it all there. And the reason for all that is so they're self-sufficient. They don't take any government money. But most of all, as those who are in and on the campus working through their addiction, when they get to a certain point, then they've got to train them to get back into the real world, into life, having the experience of having and holding a job, renting their apartment, and so they get them completely prepared for the time when they are ready, when they're ready to go back into the workforce. They do it all there. It's not a program. It is a life change. And I just wanted to spend a little more time on that so you understand that's what they do there. It is not a come in 30-day program. You did your time and out the door they go. That doesn't work. That's proven to not work. This system works because it's a complete intake and through the I don't like calling it a program because it really isn't. It's a stages. And then they get them back into the workforce and getting used to the pressures of having to pay their rent, take care of their bills, go to work, get a paycheck, and not fall back. So that's what you're doing when you support by buying some merch. You're helping that person that's waiting for us to do that, to help them to get there. They don't turn anyone down. So they make sure that they can, if they can get them in, they get them in. I haven't heard of them turning people down. All right, this morning's forecast brought to us by Niagara Block. I'm on 5,000 Montrose Road, Niagara Falls. Well, yesterday, I gotta make a comment on yesterday because I was doing tire pressure checks yesterday. I was on that duty. So I had my air hoses outside, making sure everything is pumped. We will pump you up, okay? And we did. We hit a balmy 43 degrees yesterday. And I'll tell you, snow was a melting. And I was out there cheering it on. You go. Come on. You can do it. And the piles have shrunk, I have to say. I can actually see some ground surface. The roads are not totally bare at all yet, but they were slushy and brown and gooey yesterday. So we had a balmy 43. Today, the high for today is going to be 33. That's not too shabby considering where we've been, but here's the full forecast. 28 degrees right now and snowing, yes. Wind is making it feel colder, about 15 degrees. Yeah, I got to go to the curb later. It's curb day today. Partly cloudy conditions from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. with cloudy conditions expected around 9 a.m. And today's temperature range be from 22 degrees to 33, and that's in Fahrenheit. I'm not talking Celsius, okay? That's a tool of the devil. That cost me a stinking fortune in tools when I was still putting myself through school. It can feel like 9 to 30 degrees with the wind. 9 degrees to 30 degrees. So I don't see, again, precipitation. They got zeros there, 0 inches. And then they're saying it's snowing. And it is. It's snowing here on the South Shores of Lake Erie. And I did go down and have a little Google over the lake. I'm going to take some pictures. And I'll let Skippy create some kind of a a reel. We'll post that up on our Facebook and Instagram page. The lake it's amazing. I mean, the mountainous stacks of ice. And I'll go up and I'll actually take some pictures of the ice caves for you. So those who are tuning in from like Paraguay and other parts of the United States, the Americas, all over the world, that you can have a look at what ice caves look like. So I'll shoot a little bit of video, take some still shots down at what we call Waverly Beach. It's big signs up there saying danger, use at your own risk. Well, I don't think I'm going in swimming, buddy. Not today. Not today. So take it easy out there. Temperatures are dropping. You can hit some black ice. We don't want you to do that. Spill your coffee, heaven forbid. That should not happen. But it does. It does happen. So talking this morning about electronics. Aftermarket. This isn't factory stuff. This is aftermarket electronics. Convenience versus electrical nightmares. And the first thing I want to talk about is insurance companies. Yeah. Don't get me started on that, because you know what? It takes days for me to come down. The blood pressure just gets up there and it stays. It stays. Yeah. Insurance companies always kind of seem, it's like they look for a back door to say, we can't cover that. Yeah. The deductibles on that is, that's going to be over 30 grand. What? 30 grand was only like 500 before. Well, you know, things are not the way they used to be. The world's spinning in the opposite direction. Barometric pressure is not right. You know, these things change. Everything changes. I'm being a bit sarcastic, just so you know, is because everything's an excuse, right? Anything. Well, you know, I saw a gray and white pigeon yesterday instead of a brownish red one. So, you know, prices change because things change. Give me a break. But anyhow, adding accessories that are non-factory to your automobile will and has caused issues should there be an electrical nightmare that sparks a fire on your vehicle. They look for that stuff. So if you've added something that has an electronic or electric gadget, gizmo, thingy-me, a whatnot into your vehicle, and it has not been installed by a trained installer. And yes, there's techs out there and facilities where you get that stuff done. And that gives you an invoice, a reference number, and a tech number. Having that in your hand, and when Buddy says, well, you know, who put the accessories in? Right here. Oh, you have the paperwork. Yep. That's what you need. So you can shut them down. And I love that part. Let me tell you, I am a paper mache guru. I have pushed paper for a long time. And if you came to the studio, I just went through all my file drawers. Yep. I call myself filing. And no, I don't wear a skirt or anything. Yeah. Can't tell you. But the files are all in order. If I have a piece of equipment that we've added to the shop floor, it gets a file. What goes in there? Any maintenance, any parts purchased for that unit, whatever. I got it covered. And I love to be able to, they go, oh, do you have paperwork on that? Yep, right here. Oh, that never happens. You have paperwork? So I say that in a little bit of a jest, but have your paperwork. Yeah, create a file on your vehicle so that anything aftermarket gets added to, it must be done by a licensed tech and a distributor where you've purchased that component to have it installed. Then you're safe. Should there be a sparkage somewhere in the electricals on your car and it starts a fire, you don't want them having a back door. You want to lock that down tight. You don't have a neighbor install something. No, you don't attempt it yourself. If you've never done it before, you're not licensed. So that's what you got to keep in mind is if you have this gadget, gizmo, or electronic doodad that is a must-have that is not fitted into your vehicle from the factory, then you know what? You're going to have to pay to protect yourself. Because I had that happen on 2 occasions in our own shop on the Hamilton Mountain. Big fire underneath in the engine bay. It was on I totally remember it. A Mercury Sable. How many of you out there remember those? Car from hell. Literally. That was Christine times 2. Absolutely. They were brutal and brutal to work on. Guy had an engine bay fire. Yeah, it was legit. It wasn't something that was added to the car. It was an engine bay fire. And I'll tell you what, the insurance was dancing to get out of that claim. They were looking for something, even if it was just an accessory trunk light that you installed yourself. Boom, that's an out. But they couldn't find it. It was determined to be a bit of an oil leak, back of the motor, dripping onto the catalytic converter, and it caught fire, and it started the engine bay wiring harness on fire up near the firewall, and they decided to fix it. And I'll tell you, that was a project. Holy smokes. Yes, it was. To get that vehicle back together, it was brutal, but we pulled it off. And no service lights when we were done, but the whole engine bay harness had to come out. Couldn't buy one. Wasn't available. Had to go into the wrecking yard and harvest an engine bay harness, which is not much fun, and make sure I cut myself a lot of extra wiring so I could fix this into it. But anyways, you don't want to go there because that's the first area they're going to look for. Is there anything on this vehicle that should not be here? And if it is here, do you have the paperwork to back it up that shows it was installed properly at a installation center and there's a licensed installation tech number on the invoice? They're going to look for it all so they can get a back door. So don't leave yourself wide open. And one of the biggest things is these backup cameras. It's great now that they're wireless. Those things will so quickly cause a problem if it's not done properly. So anything added aftermarket, so non-factory accessories need to be installed correctly. They need to be properly fused. They can't be hacked into wiring. We cannot cut and splice into wiring like you used to on, like your 1978 whatnot, whatever you were driving. Or even early 80s, very early 80s. You could still mutilate your wiring and the car was run and there was no service light. Yeah. And when the service lights first came out, it was a little flashing little red light. It was brilliant. I can't even talk about it. I needed therapy back then. I think all of us as techs. Yeah, counting the flashes. How many flashes was that? Boop, boop, boop. The phone starts ringing. You go, oh, I got to start the sequence again because the light would flash. Bloop, 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 and stop. Now that you had to count the number of flashes, that was the first number of a 2-piece number. Okay? So, bloop, 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 pause. That's 3. Bloop, and 1. So that's 31. Code 31. Yeah, that's what we went through. It was insane. But anyways, prior to that, yeah, you could dice and splice and Moulinex and make julienne fries out of your electricals in your car, and you'd probably still be okay until it starts on fire while you're driving down the road, and you got to get pulled off, and the car fills up with smoke, and you spilled your coffee on the passenger side floor. Yeah, and you clip something, you're not sure what it was, another driver or mailbox, whatever, and you get to the side of the road, and the car's like blazing saddles right there on the side of the road. Yeah, you don't want that. Not good. In today's world, we cannot hack dice, slice, Moulinex, make julienne fries out of any wiring, anywhere, on any component, any part of your vehicle, because it changes resistance in the wiring. Cut a piece of wire out, 1/4 inch, and splice it back together. Watch what happens. Fudge factor 10 comes down on you like burning hellfire. Yeah, not good. You end up with a car that's got a service light coming on at random and no one can figure it out. And one of the worst components to add on afterwards, and making sure that the manufacturer is okay with that. In other words, can the vehicle, your make and model that you're driving, be happy with a remote starter package that's not on there from the factory? I can't tell you the number of remote starter packages that were added by somebody, not mentioning any names, not at a accessory installation shop, and having to take it off because the car was doing bizarre electrical problems constantly. And it came down to, I disconnect. I'd say, have you had anything installed on this in, like the last couple of years? How long's this been going on? Oh, it's been going on for a while. I go, what was the last aftermarket accessory that you had? Oh, I had my neighbor put a remote starter on it. I love that thing. I said, I'm going to disconnect it and drive the car for a week. Let's see what happens. Give me a call. Let me know where we're at. Calls me. Car's perfect. No problems. What did you do? I go, I disconnected the remote car starter system. I totally discombobulated it. It doesn't exist according to the factory wiring. Oh, but I really like that. Can we reattach it? I go, yeah, I can reattach it in minutes. No charge. But you're going to have the bells and whistles back on and drivability issues. And sometimes it won't even start. It won't even crank over because it interferes. The system is wireless. It interferes with the electronics on the car. So these are things we dealt with, and you can still deal with it if you don't handle it properly. It's best if you're buying a vehicle if it's already equipped with a factory remote starter. If that's important to you, you need to, and you're ordering a vehicle, order it with the factory remote starter on it. So you know what's there is what the car likes. Not to say that the aftermarket stuff isn't any good. It is. There's some great stuff out there. You don't want to be buying, like a $39.95 remote starter kit. No. You want to make sure that you're going to an installation center that adds accessory items. They do it properly without creating a mess with your factory wiring, and they'll do the research to make sure that your vehicle can accept that particular accessory, whatever it is. You don't want to get upside down and sideways. You paid a fortune to have this unit installed, and now the car's got problems. Service light lives on the dash, in the instrument cluster, forever and ever. Amen. And you've got a vehicle that's got an electrical problem now created. Because if the service light is forever on, if there is another challenge that's real, the computer can't put the light on again if the light is already on. We've talked about that before. Yeah, if the light's already on in your kitchen, can you turn it on again if it's already on? Can you on it again? I don't know if you can. Is that a technical thing? Would you turn the kitchen light on, dear? On again? Well, it's already on. Well, can you on it again? Yeah. It doesn't work, right? Sounds silly. It does. But that's how your car works. If the service light is on, it can't on it again. So it can't let you know what's going on because it's already on. Yeah. Okay, we better move on before I digress on that one. So trailer wiring. Another huge pet peeve for me. Oh my goodness. Fellas, don't touch it. Please don't. Do not. No, no. Times no plus no equals no divided by no is no. No. Don't touch it. If you're not, again, if you're not a factory aftermarket accessory installer, no, you're not touching that. Not today, not tomorrow, not next week. I have had to pull some spaghetti out, and when I look at the connections, I'm going, oh, I don't know why there's a problem here. Scotch locks, Scotch lock connectors. I don't even allow them in the shop. Yeah, it's a quick squeezy connector thingy, not a butt connector. That's different. I don't use those either. I solder my wires, I shrink tube, and tape. That's what I do. Solder, shrink tube, tape. I got a positive connection. I've sealed it with the shrink wrap and put tape on it as well. Electrical tape, good for like minus 200. Yeah, so it doesn't go crispy, snap off. Yeah, that's how you do it. Plug and play. So if you're looking, this summer, you bought a little trailer or a little tote behind something or other, toodle machine behind you, and you have to have wiring for the trailer lights and whatnot, plug and play. That's what you're going to do. You're not saving $1. You're not saving $50. Plug and play. What am I talking about? You order the wiring harness with the accessories for that trailer hitch, that you unplug your lighting from the back of your car, your year, make, and model. You plug the lights into the harness, and then you now have a trailer plug that is plug and play. It's plugged into the existing harness connectors for the tail lights. All is well. And then let's not just ball that wiring up and stuff it up in behind the bumper, or I see it hanging out, you pinch it in the trunk lid and you stuff it under the stow and go in the back of the minivan. Come on. No, that's not how we do it. Yeah. My pops had something like that installed where he bought his last vehicle. And you know what? They didn't want to take the time to route the wiring, so they just told him, oh, just before you close the hatch, the automatic hatch, I have to say, yeah, just stuff the wiring, lift the panel up where your spare tire is, just stuff it in there. So you got a wire over your bumper inside underneath the hatch. Who does that? A lot of you. That's my answer for you. A lot of you do that. No. No, we route it properly, make sure it's not going to get cut into, make sure it's not dragging on the road, make sure that the plug is safe, and buy a really, really, really nice install wiring kit. I've done 2 of them for myself. I've found a company that does have a store on the Jungle website, and amazing setup for trailers. So no matter what trailer I would pull up to, I have the plug-in for it right there on the assembly. So if it's a 7-wire round one, boom, I can plug into it. If it's a flat bar, I can plug into it. And trailer brakes, all in one complete setup with the wiring plug and play. It wasn't that expensive. It was like, I think, $60 plus tax. It was worth it. Good, really good quality. American made. It was not made in, China or offshore somewhere. So you want to make sure that even if you're doing that, it should be done by a licensed tech. And it should be done by a licensed tech that is an aftermarket accessory licensed installer. Because even something like that, if there's an electrical fire anywhere on that vehicle and the adjuster comes out and looks, they're looking for accessories. That's what they're looking for. What caused the electrical fire? Oh, Who installed the trailer hitch? Why? Who wants to know? Well, we have to know. Do you need names? Yeah. Who did it? I did. Oh, you did. Did you do the wiring for the trailer hitch? For the trailer? I might have. Maybe. Sorta. Kinda. Yeah, I did it. They're going to deny the claim. Now what? Was it worth the savings? No. These wacky headlights, all these accessories and stuff out there. Hey, if you love that stuff, I used to install lighting and you name it when I worked at Peterbilt. I don't know. I got designated to be the dude because I had the patience for that. Bunk skirt lights, all kinds of, half fenders, full fenders, quarter fenders with lights, bunk lights, microwave, adding stuff into the high-rise bunk. I did that. That's what I did. So when that was ordered, that's what came to my service bay. Yeah. So you got to do it right. You don't need a fire. You don't need electrical fire that deems your car just a pile of scrap after. Even though it's, it looks like a car, smells like a car, it doesn't drive anymore. You've had a burnout in the main wire harness, and insurance just goes, nope, we're not fixing it. They're not fixing a whole lot of stuff anymore. Like my neighbor's car, Jeep that got hit, T-boned a couple minutes from home. I looked at it and I go, yeah, that should be fixed in, little under a month. Nope, wrote it off. Just like that. I'll guarantee you today that her Jeep got bought up at an online insurance auction, got fixed, and it's back on the road somewhere. I guarantee you that. That thing would have got scarfed over and bid on. It would have been a bidding war to get that Jeep. Absolutely, because it was gorgeous. Leather interior she kept it in mint condition. And I looked at the damage and I'm going, yeah, it needs that and it needs this panel and that can be pulled out and that'll all be good. No, wrote it right off. Didn't even think about it. Zzz, done. And so I talked to a body shop that I sent her out to, and he said, they're not fixing anything. So if you have electrical fire under the hood or in the trunk or somewhere that deems the vehicle a non-runner, they don't want to touch it because the claim can be opened and reopened for like a year, and they don't want to do paperwork. Oh, my service light came on. It must be related to the fire. Oh, my service light's back on. It must be related to the fire. They don't want that. Just make it go away. Gone. Simple as that. So, aftermarket accessories, to sum it all up, convenience versus electrical nightmares. The convenience is not worth the electrical nightmares. It is not. If you're not going to put the money out, bottom line, you're not going to put the money out to have an aftermarket accessory installer shop and licensed tech to do those things, do it. Don't touch it. Don't let the neighbor do it. Don't let, my kid's friend of a friend of a friend, he did it on his own car. Good. He did it on his own car. Leave it at that. No. If you don't have that paperwork, like I said at the beginning of the program, where there is an incident, there is a fire, electrical fire, and the car didn't burn out, but now it doesn't run and things aren't working, and every light known to mankind is on in the instrument cluster in front of you, they're going to write it off. Zzz. But they're not going to pay it out if you can't produce paperwork. So that's where I was going with this whole conversation. If you don't have paperwork that says I didn't do it myself, here's the company, here's the date, here's the amount, here's the text number. If you don't have that, it's over. And yes, she's singing. She is singing extremely loud. And now these words do not work. Oh, but I didn't know. I didn't know that. It's your job as a consumer not to be a consumer, but be a professional consumer, a prosumer. That's what we all must be in order to keep our heads out of deep water. And with the electricals, just don't do it. Whether it's add-on fog lights, these light bars on the four-wheel drives, and hacking. I've already seen stuff, and I'm like going, oh, dear God in heaven, who did that? Open the hood. You got speaker wire that they use to hook up the accessory LED lights that light up the forest so much that the deer can floss. Yeah, they start flossing. Yeah. Yeah, we don't do that stuff. You can't do that stuff. Whatever gadgetry it is, once again, reiterate. Yes, they sell those accessories. No, they are not responsible for selling you the accessory. No, they're not responsible for the installation and who puts it in. No times no divided by no still equals no. That's not paperwork. Oh, well, I bought it here. The big W store or the big C store. Doesn't matter. That's not paperwork. What they want is who and where was it installed. And the tech's license number as an aftermarket accessory installer. They have their own license and licensed for in the facility as well. So if you're not buying it there, having it installed there, don't do it. That's my end bit for you. Just like that. Thank you to our friends at Rainbow Motors, the brothers, Rita and Ramesh Shanuda, for taking great care for all these years up in the Scarborough area. Sales and service, yes, you can trust. They have a small car lot there. They do carry some inventory. But if you're looking for a vehicle specific, you need to get in touch with them, let them know what you're looking for, because they have the resources to find it. And better to have service techs that know what they're looking at, not buying somebody else's junk, because they don't sell any junk there. So sales and service you can trust. They fix and service all years, makes, and models of automobiles, up to and including light commercial vehicles as well. Vehicles that they sell, some of them qualify for an extended aftermarket warranty, which can be a really good thing. And they do carry a couple of companies that I am familiar with that are pretty decent when it comes to aftermarket warranties. So for all your sales and service up in the Scarborough area, Rainbow Motors and Garage. Sales and service you can definitely trust. And thank you to Crystal Ridge Dream Center for all that they do in the community, serving men, women, children, single mom, meals, loves, hope, programs that are all available to the school kids after school. They feed them, they mentor them, they help them with their homework. They do chocolate bingo. They won't let me go. I've tried. Yeah. Anyways, sounds good. The kids have a ton of fun with that. They do movie nights for them. They get music lessons if they want that. So much going on for all age groups, small humans, big humans, changing lives one at a time in the Niagara region. They put meals out the door every Tuesday and Fridays, and they're well over 200 meals, which is very unusual, but in the economy that we're in, it's kind of the norm. So in times when community support is crucial, Crystal Ridge Dream Center shines as a beacon of compassion and transformation, located on 385 Derby Road in Crystal Beach. They have things for the community, so check them out. Click on their logo on our homepage of our website and search your heart. What could you do to help there? Could you volunteer? Could you donate once a month? Could you send some gift cards? Because they get no outside government funding whatsoever. They have to create the funds to run the programs that they have. So they have the community kitchen, youth impact, moms supporting moms, drop-in luncheon, school of music and performing arts, living free, adopt a block. They have so much for the individual, the family, and the community. That's what they do. And we always have aligned ourselves, Car Connection, with a nonprofit faith-based organization that is serving the community in our own backyard. And that's what's important to us. So what we're working towards, and I'm going to close out with this because, we have not because we ask not. And I like to keep you in the loop what we're doing. So from this podcast to our YouTube channel, which teaches you all the basic fundamentals as I work on stuff and repair things in the shop, I talk about how it works. So what it is, where it is, how it works, how it breaks, and how you can get a better understanding of the basics on your automobile so that, you can arm yourself with knowledge. So instead of sitting back and going, I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing about a car. You will from those videos. You will understand where the fluids are, what they are, how you test them, and the like. Just this week, we shot another a battery test. How to check a battery that I had to go and remove from a single mom's car. That it was a no start, like nothing, not a click, not assist, boom, bang, nothing, and brought it back to the shop to see if we could bring it back to life because it was stone cold dead. And I think I may have saved it. It's taken a few days, but I think it's going to come back. So that battery is now almost $300. That's a lot of money for a single mom, trying to raise a couple kids, isn't it? It's a lot of money. I'll tell you, if I lose a toonie in the driveway, I'm tripping you before you get to it, before I do. Yeah, I'm just letting you know. That's the way I work. So I really, really like working with nonprofit, faith-based organizations that are working in our own backyard. We want to be able to rebuild a muscle car or a custom car once a year and then raffle it off. Proceeds going to one of the programs that we're tied in with. Yeah, one of the local community programs like Crystal Ridge Dream Center, Total Freedom. They need our help to run the programs that they don't charge people to use. So the whole purpose of our YouTube channel is to be able to also continue to do what I do, and that is service calls for single moms, for widows and orphans, and serve them. We want to be able to fix their cars for free. If it's a family that we hear of that's hurting, economically, financially destroyed, lost a job, you know the deal. It gets ugly, and it gets ugly fast, and the bills just keep pouring in. But the car's old, and it's rough and tough, maybe rougher than a stucco toilet seat, but they got to keep it going. We want to be able to fix those things, shoot the YouTube video, and not charge them a single penny for the work that's done. So how do you help us? Subscribe. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel or our podcast, please do that. That's what helps us move forward. It helps us to make the algorithms happy and get monetized so that we have the resources coming in to be able to provide those things that our vision is to reach out to the widows and orphans, single moms, single dads, hurting families out there. Would you help us do that? So if you're watching the videos, please subscribe. If you've been watching for a while, make sure you are subscribed. I was looking at analytics yesterday, and I see we've added another 23 subscribers, but it's showing 93% of those watching the videos aren't subscribed. If all 93% of those subscribed, we'd be there. We would hit the targets, and the monetization would open, and that is what we need. We need the resources. That's how we're working to get that done. So if you could help us, that's how you can help us. Support our podcasts, because there are areas where we can hook into monetization with our podcasts, but we need a community to get behind us. We need the same thing on our YouTube channel, and we'll get there. But we can't get there without you. We love you all. We appreciate you. Thank you for all you're doing. Appreciate you plugging in, logging in, whatever it is, to be a part of Car Connection. You're part of our Car Connection family. So have a great day. Make it a great day. Keep it under 100. Happy, healthy motoring, and we'll see you tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. sharp for another Motor Mouth Morning Drive. Cheers. Bye for now.